Okay, we're all college students here and have either worked a job in high school or work a job now while we go through school. So going to school full time and working 30 hours a week, I was really excited to hear about Harrisburg possibly raising their minimum wage. I thought that that was awesome. If minimum wage gets raised, then I'll get a raise. Maybe I won't have to work as many hours and still make money, right? But no. Working with a man with a degree in economics made the raise of minimum wage a reality for me. I began to do research on the effects of an increase in minimum wage and actually got angry at what I was reading. As of 2014, young adults held a job between leaving high school and age 22. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 4.4 million American workers were paid at the federal minimum wage or lower. More than half of these workers were younger than the age of 25. They're just a small slice of the economy. Out of all workers that get paid by the hour, only 4% make minimum wage or less. Increasing minimum wage in the U.S. has been a popular topic lately. And little by little, cities are beginning to increase it. Bill Peduto, the mayor of Pittsburgh, says that nobody living in his city who works a 40-hour week should be forced to live in poverty. Bill Peduto may have a point about citizens working a 40-hour week and living in poverty, but it's a much bigger picture than that. Yes, by increasing the minimum wage, your paychecks are going to get better. But just as your paychecks inflate in the amount, so do the prices in the community. Inflation in pay wages cannot just happen without the inflation of goods. If a business is forced to pay workers more than they can afford by the law, more and more employees will lose their jobs and businesses will shut down, causing unemployment rates to skyrocket. Why would minimum wage be raised when the majority of minimum wage earners are high schoolers or college students earning some cash over summer break anyway? The federal minimum wage for the Harrisburg area should not be raised because it will do more bad than good to the cities, its workers, and its business workers. An inflation in minimum wage will result in inflation in the community. In 2014, fast food workers in the U.S. asked for a minimum wage of $15 an hour. Had their demand been granted, a person working the grill or taking orders at McDonald's would have ended up earning more than $30,000 a year. Raising the minimum wage to an excessively high rate would exert inflationary pressure on the economy to keep the balance. In an argument for the raise of minimum wage, Andy Schmidt, an author for Nonprofit Quarterly, writes that raising the minimum wage would help the employees not making enough money, but it would also inflate the prices of goods so that the consumers can make up that difference. There are a few factors that together make up the unemployment expectation. The first is that since all employers have to raise the wage, they have to pass the extra costs on consumers without losing out to the competition. Also, since wages are often a small component of consumer costs, the inflation can be impossible to perceive by consumers. Any lost demand is an offset by the fact that the low wage earners have a more disposable income that they will immediately spend, resulting in a mini economic stimulation. Raising the minimum wage will put both employees and businesses out of jobs. Conservative politicians and business lobbying groups have already put a hold on Governor Wolf's proposal of increasing the minimum wage in Harrisburg. They have a fear of employers being forced to cut jobs, reduce workers' hours to pay more than they can afford. These politicians argue that instead of raising the minimum wage, the government should be helping those that are financially struggling find a better paying job. James Shirk, the senior policy analyst in labor economics at the Heritage Foundation, mentioned in his testimony to the House of Representatives that raising the minimum wage would stimulate the economy due to the spending power of workers receiving higher wages. But a former CEO and one of the biggest employers in the U.S. explained that too high of a government-mandated minimum wage would have a deadly effect on employment. Ed Renzi, the former CEO of McDonald's, says that a higher minimum wage would not only kill the already existing jobs, but also result in a substantial number of small businesses close, from 15 to 20%. Ed Renzi further explained that raising the minimum wage forces business owners to raise the prices of their goods or services, thereby spurring inflation. The majority of people that get paid minimum wage are college students and teens still in high school. Drew DeSilva, a reporter from the Pew Research Center, says that surprisingly, not many people make minimum wage, but even more earn lower due to being a server, a full-time student, or having certain disabilities. DeSilva reports that according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1.53 million hourly workers made the minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. This group represents only 4.3% of the nation's 75.9% million hourly paid workers and 2.6% of all wage and salary workers. People that make minimum wage or below fall into three categories. One category being 50% disproportionately young between the ages of 16 to 24. 24% out of this 15% are teenagers ages 16 to 19. 77% of minimum wage workers are white women, and 64% are part-timers working through school. Out of these three categories, only a few depend on these paychecks for living expenses. However, minimum wage was never invented for people to live off of in the first place. The minimum wage was enacted in 1938 and was called the Fair Labor Standards Act. It was to ensure that employees working hard labor jobs would be paid fairly and given opportunity for overtime. Minimum wage was never intended for people and their families to live off of. Yes, being a college student and hearing that minimum wage will be raised is an awesome feeling. If you're making below the minimum wage, you'll get a raise, right? Well, yes, but just as the minimum wage increases, your paycheck increases, and the prices around you will increase as well. Economy inflation is inevitable when you inflate a minimum pay rate for workers. If you think about it, raising the minimum wage won't help you much when you have to pay more for essentials. It's a little ironic that raising the minimum wage in hopes that it'll help those living in poverty will actually cause even more people to be unemployed. Businesses in today's society are already struggling to stay open with the lack of customers being able to afford their goods. Raising the prices will put a strain on the businesses, and they will have to cut jobs to keep their heads above water. More than half of minimum wage earners are like you and me. They're going to school. Yes, you're in college, and you're probably struggling financially, but it'll suck a lot more for you when your basic needs become more expensive than they ever need to be. The minimum wage should not be raised because it would do more harm than it would good to the economy. I mean, think about it. Inflation in your paychecks leads to inflation in the economy. Inflation in the economy means inflation in the prices of goods. Inflation in the prices of goods leads to less job opportunity. It would really suck to pay thousands of dollars to go through college, but not be able to find a job once you graduate with your degree because nobody can afford to pay you. I encourage you to inform others about the bad effects of minimum wage to help your future as well as future generations. You were giving me like a death